Hello, everyone. I've hit some hiccups. I was trying to go live on YouTube as well, and it's not working. So hopefully, I am being seen on Facebook and Instagram. Um, I am using a streaming platform, so I'm not actually like on Instagram and Facebook doing this. So I don't know if I'll do it this way next time or not, but I was just playing around with technology and I don't know if, okay, yes, it says that comments are going to show up here. Can't post comments to any destinations. What? Okay, whatever. I'm just going to do my thing and hopefully people will see it. Welcome if you are here and you are joining me. This is my first ever live that I'm doing. And let me just thank everybody for coming on here today and taking the time out of your day to be on here with me while I talk about something that's really near and dear to my heart. And that is going to do a little bit of food allergy talk. Um, I do want to preface and say that I want to apologize in advance if I say a lot. That's kind of my thing when I get in front of the camera these days is I say a lot. So I apologize in advance if I am doing that. Um, I am checking to see if I'm streaming on Instagram because I don't see that I am. Okay, now I think I'm on Instagram. Okay. I can see that I am on Instagram. I was only on Facebook for a hot minute, and now I do see that I am on Instagram as well. So welcome. I really appreciate all of you who are coming on, being here today. Let me see. Where is my StreamYard? Here we go. So welcome. My name is Portia Barton, and I am a food allergy mom. I have been since 2010. My daughter, Charlotte Barton, was born on New Year's Day in 2010, and she was born with life-threatening food allergies. And so um, that's kind of a crazy thought, really, I guess, because how can you be born with food allergies if you've never eaten food? Um, but she was, and we found out that she had food allergies after she had had some eczema and things as a baby, and she was like losing weight and not eating well, and she had to be hospitalized. And through a process of elimination, come to find out that she did, in fact, have food allergies, and she was being exposed to those allergens through my breast milk because I was nursing her. And so that's where our food allergy journey started. And so I have a little handy dandy whiteboard that I thought would be fun to use. Um, I wrote my little thing here. Today I'm doing the ABCs of food allergies, and I thought I would take a letter of the alphabet, A, B, and C, and just talk a little bit about each of these issues. And I see that I'm kind of glitchy. Why is that happening? Why am I glitchy? Come on. I don't want to be glitchy. Give me a minute here. Let's see. Okay, well, I'm not glitchy on Instagram, but I am glitchy in my streaming thing. Okay. So anyway, so yes, so welcome. So I will use my whiteboard a little bit to talk about some things and some food allergy, like words and vocab. And then I just also want to say that I am on here today as a food allergy mom, as a food allergy advocate. I am in no way, shape, or form a medical professional. I do not have a degree. I'm not a doctor. I don't carry any of those certifications or degrees or anything. I'm just on here today as a advocate and a food allergy mom. So, so yeah. So I'm glad you're here, and hopefully I won't say too much. Anyways, so I wanted to kind of start just by sharing a few facts about food allergies in general. And these facts that, because I've just through my years of research and learning, and just since everything that's happened in our life these past 18 months, I really kind of dove down into the food allergy world and really just been researching a whole lot. A lot of these facts and tidbits that I'll read you are from foodallergy.org. It is a nonprofit that is around to help advocate for food allergies and food allergy awareness. And it's a really great nonprofit. But according to foodallergy.org, 33 million Americans live with life-threatening food allergies. That's a pretty big number. And 1 in 13 children have life-threatening food allergies. Another fact that I learned is every 10 seconds, a food allergy sends a patient to the ER. That's kind of crazy to think about, really, and just in sharing Charlotte's story over around this time last year, I had a lot of people reach out to me and just dumbfounded that people could pass away from a food allergy reaction. Um, I guess let me say my daughter Charlotte Barton passed away in October of 2022 from anaphylactic shock, and it has been really, really hard. We all miss her a whole lot, and everyone that knew Charlotte loved her and misses her. And she was a huge advocate for herself. She Everyone that knew Charlotte knew that she had food allergies because it was pretty much her life. And so, I want to kind of carry on that advocacy and be her voice now that she is no longer here to share and be her own voice. And so that's what I'm doing. Um, Food allergy awareness every year. Food allergy awareness week kind of is a thing where the food allergy community comes together to like educate and advocate and just really inform the public about food allergies and food allergy awareness and the seriousness of food allergies and the steps that need to be taken when someone is having an allergic reaction. Um, it's a whole process, and there's a lot of information, and a lot of people don't realize. They just don't know that, I mean, having food allergies is actually classified as a disease. It's classified as having a disability. Um, Kids who have life-threatening food allergies oftentimes are on 504 plans at their schools, which are these special plans in place that the administrators and teachers and like medical staff and nurses and things and everyone who comes into contact with your child during the day at school, they know what the emergency care action plan is for your child in case of an emergency, i.e. an allergic reaction. And it's it's a good thing to have for those families whose kids are in public schools, and just to have that extra layer of safety and protection for your child. It's really nice to be able to have that. And so I am on here because Food Allergy Awareness Week is coming up. It's May 12th through the 18th of this year. And so it's just really a time to really come together, be a food allergy advocate, be a food allergy ally, just for, family members, friends, anybody that um, it's a good thing to take a stand for. So I hope to kind of be, you know, in the coming weeks and in the months and just going forward, to be that beacon of education and hope, and just as much of a source of knowledge as I can based on my experience and my point of view and things that I've learned and things that have happened in our family, that I can help someone else. That's my goal. And so it's really my intention in spreading awareness and keeping my daughter's memory alive. So with that, let me take a drink of water really quick. So I want to see if I'm still live on here. I am. Okay, good deal. This is really strange to be on here and how technology is these days, but I'm doing it and I'm working with it. So yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm going to start kind of a series over these next few weeks called the ABCs of food allergies. And so what I'm going to do is I'm taking a letter of the alphabet, and as simple as I can make it, I am just going to explain these, what these things are to you today. So hold on, give me a second here to get my stuff together. Okay. So the ABCs of food allergies. So anaphylaxis is something that happens when someone is having a severe, potentially life-threatening allergic reaction. And anaphylaxis is very serious, should be taken very, very seriously, and can lead to a very bad situation if immediate medical attention is not given. And so I want to share with those of you, just briefly, I'm not going to go into big, long detail about what happened with my daughter Charlotte, but I will touch on it. So in September of 2022, Charlotte had I would call a mild allergic reaction at school. She had accidentally taken a piece of candy. And I say accidentally because she grabbed the wrong candy. She was, with friends at school, and reached her hand into a bag of candy, took a piece of candy, what she thought was a Skittle, and evidently it was a Sweetheart. And so she immediately knew that, oh my gosh, I grabbed the wrong thing, and she just, threw it in her mouth and chewed it. And before she knew it, she realized that she had mistakenly taken the wrong candy. And so she went to the nurse, steps were taken. Charlotte was given an EpiPen. She recovered really well from that reaction. She was fine. She came home and, was okay. She went to school the next day, and, took it easy. I wrote the coach a note and was like, hey, let Charlotte please sit out from PE today, because she had to have an EpiPen yesterday, and just let's let her take it easy. And that was all well and fine. And the day goes along, and Charlotte's got a friend over, and they were hanging out, and her and her sister, and this boy, and I had made dinner, and I had asked them if they wanted to eat, and Charlotte was like, "No, I'm good," and the boy's like, "No, I had already eaten before I came." And so the evening kind of went along, and my husband and I sit down to start watching TV. We had just gotten back from a business trip like 2 days before, so we were just wiped and tired. And we hear the nebulizer come on in our living room. And so we both come out here because we were like, what in the world? Because our other boys were in bed already, our little boys. And we're like, what's going on? And Charlotte's like, I can't breathe. And so what looked like an asthma attack to us, was actually the start of anaphylaxis, but we didn't know that. We didn't know that at the time. And so we're kind of rushing around, like, what's going on? Like, the nebulizer's not working. So I grab her EpiPen, and we are off in a mad dash to the ER. And my husband was here waiting for this boy's mom to come and pick him up. And on the way to the ER, Charlotte gave herself the EpiPen, and it did absolutely nothing. She was still struggling to breathe, and I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't really know what was happening. I just was like, what the heck? She hadn't eaten anything. And so it was very panicky, scary situation. And by the time I had gotten her to the ER, I left my car I left my car on. I left the doors open. And I grabbed her, and I ran her in there, and they immediately took her back. And sometime in between triage and me just briefly talking to the people out front, and a nice lady parked my van for me. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but I remember bits and pieces. And in those moments, I was not back there with Charlotte, but she went into cardiac arrest. And now, mind you, this all happened so fast in such a short time. And I thought she was having an asthma attack, because it's what it looked like, was that. And so, so that began the whole journey of what happened to Charlotte that night. And so I wanted to touch on, while I'm talking about food allergies, and we're beginning with the letter A, I wanted to really talk about anaphylaxis and anaphylactic shock, because when I shared Charlotte's story on socials, like this time last year, I had people reaching out to me, and they were like, I had no idea that you could die from anaphylaxis. I didn't know that people who had food allergies had this potential to happen to them. And then people were just blown away. And, so, I was very gung ho about trying to share Charlotte's story and let people know that, what happened, and how it can look like one thing and it's actually another. And it's just so important to talk about. But and I did that. Like, I was very active, and I still do, like, share Charlotte's life and pictures and videos and stuff. But it's been really, really tough, because the grief of her loss has just kind of taken over. So as much as I've wanted to talk about it every day and just advocate and bring awareness, it's been really hard. But I know that somebody has to do it, and I can't stay in that space because it's not healthy. So that's why I'm here today doing this. And so anaphylaxis is very serious, very, very, very serious. It's life threatening. It can be potentially life threatening. And um, so when somebody is going into anaphylactic shock or anaphylaxis, there are some signs that can happen when it does happen. And so anaphylaxis doesn't have to be from food. Um, People who have insect stings, bee stings, ant bites, certain medicines can cause people to go into and to have a severe allergic reaction. Um, and latex. I mean, so it doesn't have to be a food item, although most times those are the triggers, but there are also other triggers that can bring on anaphylaxis for people. But in the case of me and our story and Charlotte and talking about this, I'm talking about food allergies, um, and how it pertains to Charlotte. So some of the symptoms of anaphylaxis, at least I know for us, Charlotte's reaction at school the first time was she was walking, she was talking, she was upset, so she was crying. Her nurse had her brush her teeth just to get any of the remnants of the candy out of her mouth, and she was up and about, and just she was scared. But we're all like, you're going to take this EpiPen and you're going to feel fine and you're going to be great. And that's exactly what happened. It was a mild reaction to the candy, and but the second reaction the following night was completely different. And like I said, it looked like she was having an asthma attack. She was wheezing, she was coughing, and she was walking some. She was kind of pacing while she was on her nebulizer. And so, when we saw that it wasn't working, we're like, okay, we got to go. And so, some other things, other symptoms to look for are rash or hives, swellings. They can be itching, a swollen throat and mouth, wheezing, chest tightness, passing out, or collapsing, trouble breathing, hoarseness, vomiting, diarrhea, and those things can happen. You can turn really, really pale. Your body color can change. Another symptom that I actually read about was a feeling of impending doom, which I don't I don't know what that would feel like in that moment, but I imagine it's a pretty scary symptom to feel. Um, and so those are some signs to look out for when somebody is having a severe allergic reaction. Um, and so in Charlotte's case, um, her allergic reaction turns to anaphylaxis, which then led to anaphylactic shock. And so anaphylactic shock is defined as um, a shock that occurs to your body when your blood pressure drops so low that your cells and your organs are not getting enough oxygen. And it can happen so fast. And so it's kind of like a series of events. You've got this reaction that's happening, and it's turning severe, and it's turning life threatening, and then you've got the anaphylaxis, and then the anaphylaxis can lead to the anaphylactic shock. And I will share with you that anaphylactic shock is listed as Charlotte's cause of death on her death certificate, um, followed by the words peanut allergy. And so now I must tell you that Charlotte did not ingest peanuts. Charlotte did not ingest any food. Um, but she was exposed to peanuts, to a peanut um, food, but she did not eat it herself. And so it's kind of strange to think about and hard to kind of understand. And I understand that, and I get it. And um, so so here I am. I haven't really publicly out loud talked about all of that, the details of that, and what led up to that night, and even things that had happened the day before. Um, and but like I said, I owe it to her to talk about her life and her story, and even the hard part. Even the hard part is important, because even if we can educate one person or save one person, by hearing what to do or what not to do, then that makes a difference. That makes all the difference. And so that's um, anaphylaxis and anaphylactic shock. I wanted to really cover those two, because they are very important, because they are very serious and need to be epinephrine needs to be administered straight away, right away, when you believe that somebody is having an allergic reaction or an anaphylactic reaction. Epinephrine is safe. It is, you're going to feel so much better having epinephrine and having that EpiPen over not. Um, I know for Charlotte, she had had an EpiPen one other time in her life. She was 4. I had taken Charlotte to her immunologist or her allergy doctor, and she had gone through a couple different allergy doctors over the years. And this one in particular had told me to perform a baked egg challenge for Charlotte at home, and didn't tell me specifically what to make, but that I should bake something with egg. And I let me preface, or let me touch back and let you know what Charlotte was allergic to. My apologies. Charlotte was allergic to all dairy, all eggs, baked or unbaked. She couldn't have boiled eggs. She couldn't have scrambled eggs. She couldn't have items with egg baked in them. She was allergic to peanuts, tree nuts, fish, and shellfish. And um, so the doctor's like, yeah, try this baked egg challenge at home with her. And at that time, I was like, okay, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think something bad would happen, and if it did, I had her EpiPen. But I baked a pancake, and gave it to Charlotte, and it did not end well. She started vomiting, and I gave her EpiPen, and I don't remember if we went to the emergency room. You're supposed to go to the emergency room after administering an EpiPen. I did not always know that. That was not always told to me by the doctors. But you absolutely positively need to go to the ER if you've administered an EpiPen. Absolutely positively. No ifs, ands, or buts. And so that was the only time that she had had an EpiPen, is when she was 4. And so, with Charlotte, she was sometimes she was scared about the prospect of using her EpiPen, just because of of the trauma around. I guess she remembers from when she was 4 years old, and it was kind of a scary thing. And um, so so that had happened, and that was the only time she had needed an EpiPen. Um, and then that what happened at school, that's when she had one. Um, and then again that night when everything had happened. And so I just wanted to touch on that, about what she was allergic to, and her experience with needing an EpiPen. So the next word I wanted to kind of touch on, and this is really important, I think, especially for food allergy caregivers, moms, dads, grandmas, anyone who's has a food allergy kiddo who has food allergies, and you're worried about cooking and cross contamination and like all the things that come along with food allergies and having food allergies, and that's balance. And so um here's my little whiteboard. Balance. How cute. Okay. um so with the challenges that come along with having a life-threatening food allergy, or being the caregiver of somebody who has a life-threatening food allergy, um, finding a balance in the day to day can be a struggle when it comes to cooking or preparing food, sending your child off into the world. As a parent, it can be very anxiety filling to feel to do that. Um, so you've heard of the term like work-life balance. So I thought of the term food fear balance, um, because when you have food allergies, there is a potential fear around food, um, especially for someone who does have food allergies, but also for the people who care for people who have food allergies. Um, it can be hard, whether you're sending your child off to a birthday party, if your child's eating at school, and a lot of schools, at least in where I live, they're pardon me, they will have food allergy food allergy tables that your kids can opt to sit at, right? And Charlotte did that when she was in elementary school. She had a food allergy table, and so does my son Brandon. Charlotte's little brother Brandon, he's 11, and he has the same exact food allergies that Charlotte did. And so this is a very much still a very big part of our everyday life. And so he also um, has the option to sit at the food allergy table. However, with that, sometimes they're allowed to have a buddy. Sometimes I've been told by my kids that they sit by themselves. And what fun is that? What kid wants to sit alone at lunch? I mean, that's like the most fun time of day besides recess, right? And so um, it's a worry as a parent. Is my child sitting with someone who's eating a peanut butter sandwich? Like, I've thought that. And as your kids get older, um, and especially these preteen and teenage years, like, they are more apt to take risks. Trust me. My seventh grade Charlotte, my fifth grade Charlotte, pardon me, would not have taken that risk with what seventh grade Charlotte did by putting her hand in a bag of candy and accidentally taking the wrong one. So as they get older, as those pressures appear and are just more prevalent, they are more apt to take risks. And so that's important to know. When you are cooking or preparing food, it can be challenging. It can be daunting. Lysol wipes right here, right? I know. I'm going to give you an example. Um, my older daughter, Skylar, she's about to be 18. She's away at Tech. It's in college, and she loves scrambled eggs and scrambled eggs and fruit. That was like a lot of her breakfast mornings or she consumed those things a lot of mornings before school and on the weekends. And one time she had made some eggs and then proceeded to touch some fruit without washing her hands. And I normally catch that. And I'll normally always be reminding, hey, make sure after you cook eggs that you are washing your hands and you're using Lysol wipes all around the counter and everything like that. And she's been great about it ever since that moment that happened. But she had some fruit. I packed some of the same fruit in Charlotte's lunch or for her snack. And Charlotte was like, Mom, like I couldn't eat my fruit today. I took a bite of blueberry and my throat was like itchy. And I immediately went back to to Skylar cooking those eggs that morning and not washing her hands. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it. And that is something that can happen. And with somebody who has severe food allergies, like, you've got to be washing your hands. And some people, some families, they may not even have eggs in the home. And that's a choice too. And I understand that choice. And, um, you know, it's everybody's own choice what you want to do for your family. I had 6 kids at home at one point, and 2 of them could not eat eggs. And so aside from that time, we were always very, very careful and always very cautious. And everybody now knows, especially, that you've got to wash your hands. And so it's a learning process, and it's constant. It is constant worry. Um, when somebody with the food allergies are trying a new food, even if it's a food that after reading the label they know they can have, if they've never had it, it can be very scary to try. It can. Eating at a new place, eating out. That's a whole nother video of talking about, like, eating out with food allergies. Some people choose not to do that, and some people do. Some people try it. Um, I will tell you, with our family, we have, like, set places that we have gone to, that have been safe, and my children have never had a reaction to any of the places that we've eaten out. We're really diligent. We talk to the cooks. We, only go to the same places. And every family, whatever your choice is, that's your choice, and you do what is best for your family. But for some people, it's such a source of anxiety that they just don't. They just make their own food, and that's okay too. That's okay too. So, finding that balance, um, is difficult. And so, what do we do, right? Like, what can you do to not drive yourself absolutely bonkers as a food allergy sufferer or a food allergy caregiver? How do you find that balance? How do you get that peace of mind, so you're not in a constant state of worry? And so we just, you never stop. You never stop with the educating and the being aware, and making sure that all the safety measures are in place for yourself or your child or anyone that that has food allergies, and you're going to be cooking for them. You know, I do want to say, that the this person, that Charlotte knew, that came over to the house that night, um, his family was super, super wonderful, and always making sure that the foods that they made for Charlotte was very, very safe, and it was something that she could eat. I had contact with his mom about it, and it was never an issue. She knew what her allergies were. She would prepare meals that she could have. They took her out to eat with them one time, and this mom called the restaurant to make sure that they would be able to accommodate Charlotte's food allergies. And so we felt that love that Charlotte that they had for Charlotte. And we have many families and moms that stepped up for her in that way throughout her life and made sure that she was safe. And we're thankful for that, and we are appreciative of that. And so, keeping another way to help kind of find balance in the worry, and just keeping that peace within yourself, is to always keep the lines of communication open. Um, like I said, I can't stress this enough. As kids get older, um, they are going to take risks. Like I said, Charlotte with the candy, and um, you know, you've got to have those tough conversations about things that come up in middle school. Um, in middle school, it's a whole different world than it is elementary. Your kids are growing up, and doing things that they didn't do before, and keep those lines of communication open, especially with your food allergy kids. Remind them about not eating other people's candy. Remind them about not eating other people's foods. It's just it's better to be safe than sorry. And so even if you're annoying your kid, it doesn't matter. Um, for somebody with food allergies, it can be a matter of life and death. And so be annoying to your child when it comes to that kind of thing. Who cares? They'll love you. They love you anyway. Um, so another way to keep that food fear balanced and some peace is to always be prepared. And when I say by what I mean by that is always making sure that you have emergency things available when you have a food allergy patient or kiddo or family member. Um, Unexpired EpiPens are very, very important to have on hand. We have a plethora of them. We also have expired ones, but we also have ones that are not expired, and they are the forefront of our medicine cabinet. Another tidbit or tip for um, especially for a preteen or a teen is to be in the habit of having your child take their EpiPen with them everywhere they go. My fifth grader, my son Brandon, he's 11. We do not leave the house without his EpiPen, and I make sure I tell him, "Go grab your Nike bag. Go get your bag. You know what's in it. You know what you need it, and just in case." There's 4 EpiPens and an inhaler in there, and some Benadryl. That way, and you know how to respond in case there's an emergency situation. You are on the ball. You're not scrounging around like, oh my gosh, what do I do? If you've got the meds, you epi first, epi fast. That's what you do if the need arises. Another thing to kind of help ease with the fear and the keeping that peace is to stay connected to others who are in it. There is a whole food allergy world and community. I have found myself um, that has been really amazing to connect with. They live it, they understand it. Some of them are new to it and are scared. Some of them have been doing this for years and can provide advice. Just it's really great to be able to connect with others who are also living with life-threatening food allergies. And that's the great thing about social media is that you have the opportunity to connect with others, and so you don't feel alone. And heck, I mean, you might even share some recipes. There's a lot of great resources and tools to be able to help you in any anxiety or trying to find that balance situation. So, and I wanna say, give yourself grace. Take deep breaths. I have had to tell that to myself on a daily basis these last 18 months, um, especially during hard times. Keeping your mind at peace is something that you never want to walk away from. Um, but in hard times, when you've got a food allergy kiddo and they are doing a food challenge, or they're having some skin testing done, or they're in a full-blown asthma attack, you've got to remember to breathe, and it's going to be okay. Just make sure you take the appropriate measures to, of course, to help the situation. And let's try to focus on things that you can control, like food choices, how you prep meals, making sure the environment is safe, where you're prepping your meals. Um, you know, uh, it it doesn't. It can be scary. It can be scary dealing with food allergies, and a lot of times, asthma is something that comes along with food allergies. Typically, I'm not going to talk about asthma today because I'm already been back. gabbing for a while. So we'll talk about asthma another time. Remember, I am not a medical professional. This is just my experience with my children's asthma. Um, so, just give yourself some grace when dealing with food allergies and the fear and this, because it can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Um, you know, um, Anyone in this space that's living with life-threatening food allergies, or you're a caregiver, it, it doesn't have to be a tragedy. Um, what happened to Charlotte was a tragedy, but what happened to her was a very rare occurrence too. And doesn't mean that everybody's situation will end like that. So I do I do want to take these last few minutes because I'm going on time here. I don't want to take too much of everyone's time. I really appreciate you guys being here with me. I don't know if anybody's left any comments or anything. I can't really see. Like I said, I'm kind of new to this whole technology thing. So I'm just going to write RC for the day, which, we covered anaphylaxis and anaphylactic shock. We covered balance, just kind of from a mental health aspect of life with food allergies. And our C, which will be my last letter, is I want to talk about Charlotte, my daughter Charlotte. I have her on my shirt. She's on my shirt, see, right here. And she's always right here. So I'm sorry. So I just want to say these last little things here about Charlotte. Charlotte was literal sunshine and a soul. She lit up a room and could burp like a man and had a belly laugh that you could hear if you were standing in another room. She was always very, very careful when it came to her food allergies. She really asserted her boundaries when it came to her food allergies. And she was smart. She knew what she could and could not eat. She knew to read food labels from a very early age. We did that with her. I mean, because she practiced food avoidance because of her sensitivity, and she also had a condition called EOE, which is called eosinophilic esophagitis. She was not a candidate for food challenges because her risk of anaphylaxis was too high. It was too high. So she practiced food avoidance, and she just, from a very early age, was very good about reading those labels and check in and making sure that she was being safe, for herself. And, you know, on my good days, where I'm not consumed by her loss, I am empowered by her because she just was really strong. She was a strong girl. She was a fighter, and she fought really hard and until she took her last breath. She did. She did. And I would just encourage anyone in this that's dealing with food allergies and life-threatening food allergies, because there's different variations and levels of having food allergies. Not all allergies are life-threatening. I'm just specifically talking about life-threatening food allergies where that requires epinephrine if there's exposure. You've got, you need to stay vigilant, stay cautious, be your own advocate. There are many, many resources and tools to help educate and share and spread awareness and just really, there there's a lot of information out there if you're willing to receive it. I want to mention, before I sign off here, I want to mention a couple of the nonprofits that I have come to find in this space from this tragedy of Charlotte, of losing Charlotte. And I'm just going to mention a couple of them. Foodallergy.org is a really, really great place for information. There's tools, there's emergency care plans, there's downloads, there's pamphlets, there's handouts, and they're always updating their information all the time. And so you can find them too on socials. They're called FARE, F-A-R-E, but it stands for foodallergy.org. Another nonprofit is Red Sneakers for Oakley. That's been a really good nonprofit, and their content is powerful. It's powerful and it's educational, and I would highly recommend that. Another one is Elijah's Echo, and another really good one that's based in the UK is called Natasha's Foundation. And I do want to mention that 3 out of those 4 nonprofits that I brought to your attention were created in honor and memory of 3 pretty amazing human beings who are no longer here because of anaphylaxis, and their loved ones took their pain from what happened to their child, and they made it their purpose. And so I'm striving to do the same. I'm not really there yet, but that is my goal, is to set up some sort of nonprofit or foundation in Charlotte's memory. So yeah, but I guess I'm turning into a blubbery mess, so I'm going to finish off here today. But I really appreciate anyone who showed up and for bearing with me. I had a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning, but I figured it out, and I just appreciate everyone joining and hearing about my Charlotte. So I hope all of you have a really good end of the week, and take care. Thank you so much. Peace.